Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. There's been a fascinating development in the world of the Swindon town Swoodilypoopers. But first I need to tell you that we are here at the county ground in the Barclays Premier League taking on Aston Villa. This is the kind of game we need to win, and we're going to win. Why? Because in a stern turn of events, it's raining in England. Does everything sound okay? All right, good. It's raining in England. There's our best player failing to shake hands once again with Derek Milborough, our ginger referee. Should have started Ginger Rampage. They have a known affinity for each other. Instead, we've got John Green and John Green up front, Basanta Claus and Zapata in the back, along with D. Motherflippin' Fox. And in the center, we've got the usual guys who are anchoring the center. Merrick, silent but deadly, as well as S. Holden Goldfield. Also starting today, French the Lana. All right, so I work really hard to make sure that these boys don't know that they are fictional characters in a video game called FIFA 11, because I feel like it might confuse them and or destroy them. In the same way that, like, if I am a fictional character, and I may be, I don't want to know, right? Like, you never want to know these things. And the good news is they still don't know that they are fictions. However, I was giving my pregame pep talk before the last game, and I mentioned that I was very excited about our first round FA Cup draw. And then the boys said, Coach, we don't play in the first round of the FA Cup anymore because we're in the Premier League. We don't join in until like the third round. And I was like, it was kind of embarrassing. Look at beautiful bald John Green in his boots. He took his gloves off today so we can focus on his awesome red boots. He's wearing red. He's Swindon through and through, all the way down to his little tiny feet. I actually don't know. I think bald John Green probably has big feet. But anyway, not relevant to the story. So, anyway, I passed it off as like, oh, I'm such a stupid coach. Like, oh, I don't even win. We don't play in the first round of the FA Cup anymore. But there must have been something in my voice or something when I was telling the story that didn't sound right. After the game, it has to be it! It is! Bald John Green! Bald John Green, John Green. He gives it all for the team. Upon his mustache, we're keen. Bald John Green, John Green. Look at him. Steal the ball, recover from the tackle, and just put it in the back of the net because he's a frickin' finisher. Oh, I love to see it. And here we are, up 1-0 on Aston Villa. Now we are going to rely upon El Campuccino, whose saves famously are intense. All right, probably went in the wrong direction there. Probably should have gone toward goal instead of away from it. But maybe it's going to work out fine. It might! No. Anyway, after the game, Bald John Green and other John Green both came to my office. It's very unusual that both of these guys, that they would come together. So I was immediately nervous. I was like, oh my God, like what if they're separating or something and they're having some personal problems or worse still, like they're coming to tell me that, they don't feel like Swindon can win a Premier League title with its current resources, and so they feel like they need to be traded. I mean, I was just all kinds of terrible things were going through my head. Like, look, the guys have been extraordinarily loyal to the team, but we're looking at two forwards who, oh no! God! El Campuccino! It's not very good. I mean, we have a lot fewer, clean sheets than we did back in the days of Ricardo Bunsen-Burnett, even though Ricardo Bunsen-Burnett was far... Anyway, I'm going to give him a talking to. Oh, get it to your husband! That's infuriating. Things should have gone better there. So the boys came into my office and they were like, Coach, we need to talk. And I was like, oh boy, that's not good. And they said, why'd you say that we were going to the FA Cup first round? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it was just a, slip of the tongue. Like, I meant, third round Third round draw, and he was like, but you know, it's not even really that part of the season, coach. Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all. What? It's a foul for a Christian side hug? Derek Milborough with his noted anti-ginger bias. All right. So yeah, and I basically for a while I just tried to make it seem like, oh, you know, I don't know what you guys are talking about. You guys are crazy. Like, you're just being silly. And then we got to be off the post. Oh, it's infuriating. Oh, it's annoying. Should have been a goal, but it wasn't. Guys just wouldn't let it go. Like, they wouldn't let it go like they knew. Like, they knew on some level. Like, they've sort of just smelled that something's up somehow. You know, oh, it is ball John Green. It's 2-1 from Twice's Vice. He's so vicey. Oh. Yes. Oh. He's big. He's lean. Wait, that's not the song. Oh. He's big. He's brash. He has a nice mustache. Ball John Green. Ball John Green. Ball John Green. Suddenly he's on a hat trick. So they just wouldn't let it go. It was like they knew something. You know, it was like they understood in a way that I didn't understand. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe in these situations you always sort of there's something that just tells you that something's wrong. I don't know. So anyway, finally I was like, well, listen, like, there are other, you know, like, you're not the only. Oh, what is happening? It's just a fantastic game for John Greens today. Apparently they love knowing the truth, Meredith. Look at that. Look at this finish. It's just, you got the position and you just put it total top shelf. That's a top-notch goal. They scored with their head. They scored with their feet. Now will they score with their chests? That's the only thing that's left. So eventually I was like, look, I'm going to level with you. Your Swindon town is not the only Swindon town. There are. I sort of explained it by talking about the multiple universe theory. That every time there's a change in our world that could have gone another way. You know, like maybe there is a world in which it went that other way. You know, and maybe there's a world in which you guys didn't come along to the Swoodilypoopers. And, you know, you didn't build up guys like Voluptuous Pericard and Leroy Williamson and you know, maybe if things had gone differently, you know, Swindon wouldn't be in the Premier League now, like, you know. And they're like, wait, you know, what are you talking about, coach? And I was like, well, there are other worlds, other universes. There's an infinite number of Swindon towns. Not an infinite number, but a very large number, you know. Large enough that it feels infinite to us. You know, there's the Swindon town where maybe Fat Lucas is still the keeper, and then there's the Swindon town where you know, maybe they have a different keeper. There's a Swindon town maybe where they have a couple guys named Rooney on their team, albeit not Wayne Rooney. You know, there are all these different Swindon towns, and they were like, well, do you have access to these? And I was like, you know, I don't have. I'm not God, you know, like, I don't have access to an infinite number of futures, or I keep saying infinite when I just mean very, very large. People are always confusing infinite sets with extremely large sets, and I hate to be like that, so I apologize. But I was like, you know, I don't have access to all the information in the world, but I do, you know, like, I do follow Swindon towns in some other universes, essentially. And they were like, so there's a different universe that you have access to that we don't, with a Swindon town in it. And I was like, yes, that is basically the case. And it's pretty mind-blowing to them, but, like, as I said, they seem to know, not in the way, they seem to sense that something was up. That's a foul. Thank you. They just seem to have a sense of it, you know? That's the only way I can say it. That's another foul! How about a yellow card? That guy's been fouled twice. Yeah, thank you. Yes, you were naughty, and now you've been cautioned. So they started asking me all these questions about what are these alternate Swindon towns, and I was like, well, there's really one. There's one other Swindon town that I'm aware of that I follow, that I have access to. I don't have access to an infinite number of all the things that could have happened, all the realities that might have been. I know of just this one. And they want to know everything about this one. Who's the manager of this one? I said, it's an Italian guy. His name's Di Canio. And they were like, Paolo Di Canio? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, he's a fascist, which he is. And I was like, yeah, I know, but it turns out he's like pretty good manager. And they were like, well, if he's such a good manager, like, how are they doing? And I was like, well, they're in League One. And he was like, League One? League One? You got to understand, to the John Greens, like, the idea that Swindon would still be in League One, like, to them, again, it's 2019, and, Al Cappuccino, what are you doing? Oh, he came, and then he was like, oh, no. Context is everything. So they wanted to, they wanted to know everything. They wanted to know, like, what is their record? Like, are they going to go up to the championship this year? And I was like, probably not. Like, they just came up from League Two. And they were like, League Two? What is this crap? And I was like, yeah, they got relegated. And they came back up, and now they're in League One, and they're gonna be like upper mid-table because they've got this great manager. And they were like, "This is not such a great manager." And I was like, "Well, you guys got to remember, you don't play for them. Like, in this hypothetical world, like, you aren't on that team. Like, you don't, like, they don't have an 87 and a 78 in the form of a married couple. Obviously, if they look at Merrick, he's just that guy. I love him, but he doesn't have a ton of energy." He's not a particularly energetic player. I'm going to take out S. Holden Goldfield too. He's had a good run here, and I'm going to take out the more tired of the John Greens. They've both performed heroically. Wait, unless that's bald John Green, and it is. I can't take him out because he's on a hat trick. I'm going to take out other John Green. You can't take out a guy when he has a chance at a hat trick. It's too cruel. All right, so I explained the situation as best I could. And they just couldn't believe it. And they were like, well, what can we do? Like we want to help this Swindon. And I was like, you guys can't, it doesn't work that way. Like, you can't just go into an alternate universe and become the stars of a different Swindon town. Plus, like, these guys, both Ball John Green and other John Green make like $50,000 a week, Like, the Swoodilypoopers, when we started out, they were making like $4,000 a week. And now they're making $50,000. Like, it's just it's unimaginable, the difference. I mean, and you can't discount that. Like, you can't be like, oh, well, I'm sure you don't mind going back to making $4,000 a week. Like, these guys are professionals, and they're gonna. You have a short. People always say, like, oh, footballers make so much money and everything, but, like, actually no. Like, you have a very short career. So even if you make a couple $1 million, maybe you make a couple $1 million in your career, but, like, that's it, That's the equivalent of making, over the course of a 30-year career, $30,000 a year or something. I'm really bad at math. That was incorrect. So they just kept, they agreed not to tell anyone else, about this other Swindon. But they've been asking me for clips and stuff. They want to see, and I showed them on YouTube. I showed them this other Swindon playing. I've brought over, I have to bring it's a weird, the mechanics of this stuff are fascinating to me, because if I bring over, like, if I take a newspaper with me when I go to the training ground, I take a newspaper with me from my world into their world. Like, the newspaper stays with me, so I can show them the newspaper. If I take a computer, it's still my computer. And so, off the post! Oh, we've hit the post like twice today. Oh, man, Ball John Green wanted that. So they know, but they also don't know. Our opponents are sniffing their pits in shame. I'll continue this fascinating story tomorrow, and then we'll go back to talking about things you find interesting. Thanks for watching.